Find the eighth term of an arithmetic sequence b squared plus 23, 4b squared plus 21, 7b squared plus 19. Let us solve this in this new learned video. Hello everyone, welcome to my class. In this video, we are going to solve for the missing term of an arithmetic sequence having variables in each term. So for example, we have b squared plus 23. It has letter b, which is the variable. Okay, so when we say variable, these are the letters which represent a number. And also we have here another b squared and another b squared, but it has different numbers beside them, and we call these numbers as numerical coefficient. Okay, so how are we going to solve this? First, let us recall the n formula of an arithmetic sequence, and that is a sub n is equals to a sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d. And from the problem, we are looking for the eighth term, which means we are looking for the a sub 8. Now let's proceed to the given. From the formula, we are going to look for the value of a sub 1. So our a sub 1 from the problem is b squared plus 23. Next is the value of n. Since we are looking for a sub 8 or the 8th term, then the position of that last term, we consider it as the last term, is 8. Next is, we are going to look for the common difference. If you try to recall in our previous videos, common difference is the number that we add to get the next term. Or, in getting the common difference, we need to get two consecutive terms from the given sequence and then subtract them. So for example, we are going to get 4b squared plus 21 and 7b squared plus 19. So these are the two consecutive terms that we are going to subtract in order to get the common difference. But in this problem, it is very different because we are dealing with binomials having two terms. One is having variable and the other one doesn't have a variable. So first, let us focus on the part having variable. So we have 4b squared and 7b squared from the second term that we chose. Okay? So, let us write them. So we would write the second term. So 7b squared, then subtract, minus 4b squared. If you try to recall your knowledge about adding or subtracting variables, all you need to do is to make sure that they are like terms, having the same letters or variables and also having the same exponent. So since in this example that we have, or in this given that we have, they have the same letters being used as the variable and also they have the same exponent, so we can subtract them. But how to subtract? Only focus on the number beside the letter, and that is 7 and 4. And we call these numbers as numerical coefficients. So first, let's do 7 minus 4, and that is 3. And all we need to do with the variable and the exponent is just to copy. Okay? Next, now let's go to the other term of the binomial, that is 21 and 19. Again, first we have to write the second term, 19 minus the first term, 21. So since lesser minus bigger value, absolute value, then the answer would be negative. 21 minus 19, and that is 2. So our answer is negative 2. Therefore, our common difference is positive 3b squared minus 2. Okay, so this is now our common difference. And let's proceed. Let us substitute all these values to our formula. When we say substitute, we replace these variables or symbol into the values here. So our a sub 1 is b squared plus 23. Okay, let's put parentheses because they are considered as 1 plus our n is 8 minus 1 times our common difference is 3b squared minus 2. Still, we are going to put parentheses because they are considered as one entity, okay? So now, we can now remove the parentheses because there is no number outside the parentheses that you can see, no? But if it has number, we cannot easily remove the parentheses. Take note of that. B squared plus 23 plus, we can execute this. If you try to follow PEMDAS, parentheses first, since these are numbers inside the parentheses and it has no letters in it, then we can perform the operation. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Let's still have the parentheses because it has another entity beside it, and that is 3b squared minus 2. Since 3b squared minus 2 cannot be performed because 2 doesn't have b squared or doesn't have any variable which is similar to 3b squared, then we will just copy it. 3b squared minus 2. Next is we are going to multiply since we have addition, and when you see two entities put beside with each other and is enclosed with parentheses, then the operation is multiplication. So we have addition and multiplication. So we do multiplication first and copy those values which are not affected. Okay? So 7 times 3b squared minus 2. So how are we going to multiply? Of course, by distributive property. We are going to multiply it here. 7 times 3b squared. So we only focus on the number first. 7 times 3, that is 21. Since 7 doesn't have any variables in it, and 3b squared has variable, then we will just copy. Then 7, since this is minus 2, then that's negative. So 7 negative 2 is negative 14. As you can see, we have terms having variables, which is b squared, and terms having only numbers or constant. So for us to have an easy computation, let us put those terms having variables beside with each other and also those constants beside with each other, following of course the operation. And since we are just arranging, then there will be no changes of signs. If you try to watch our other videos wherein we changed positive to negative, it's because we moved a term from this side of the equation to the other side of the equation. But in here, we are just focusing on one side and just arranging them, then there's no changes of the sign. So let's write those terms having variables. So b squared, then since this is plus, we copy, plus 21b squared. Next is those constants. Since this is plus 23, then we would do plus 23. Then this is minus 14, then minus 14. So now let us combine like terms. So it's easier for us to combine like terms because they are already arranged. They are beside with each other. So b squared plus 21b squared. So as you can see, there's no number here beside b squared. Actually, it has 1 here. So if ever there's no number or numerical coefficient beside the variable, it means that it has 1 in there. So 1 plus 21, that is 22. Then let us just copy b squared. So next, 23 minus 14. So that is 9. Positive 9. Okay. Therefore, our a sub 8 is 22b squared plus 9. I hope you learned something in this video. That's all. Bye-bye.